Hi, I'm Trevor Ellis, Head of Service here at Recon Power Bikes, and I'm going to show you how to install Tannis armor. We have a lot of these to install on an order, so let me show you how to do it. Let's take a look at the tools you're going to need. You're going to need 2 tire levers, a way to deflate and inflate the tire from your bike. So go ahead, let's get your rear wheel or your front wheel removed from the bike. If you don't know how to do so, please consult the videos in the description below on how to remove the front and rear wheel from your Hummer EV e-bike. So go ahead and deflate the tire and remove the tire from the rim. So to remove the air from the tire, I'm going to use a Park Tool valve core remover. You're going to use the smaller end to get inside of your valve to remove that valve core. So go ahead and unscrew it, and it'll release all of the air from the tire. Now that all the air is removed from the tire, you'll go ahead and go around the rim and the edge of the tire and break the bead from the rim. Do this on both sides to verify that the tire is not beaded to the rim. Now we'll go ahead and remove the tire from the rim. Now that the bead is removed from the rim, we'll go ahead and take one tire lever and wedge it underneath the bead of the tire. Make sure that you do not pinch the tube underneath the tire. Then we'll go ahead and pull back towards you with the tire lever to remove the bead onto the outside of the rim. I recommend starting opposite of the valve of the tire to verify that you can pull out the tube and then follow by pulling out the valve. Go ahead, reach underneath the tire and pull the tube from the rim. Go to the other side, push the valve inside of the rim, and pull the tube out. Next, go ahead and pull the tire away from the wheel itself. Set the wheel aside so we can install the Tannis into the tire. So to install the Tannis armor inside of the tire, go ahead and press the insert inside of the tire. And you'll work its way around, pushing and pulling the tube, the tire insert, into the tire. Once it's fully seated all the way around the inside of the tire, we'll go ahead and insert the tube inside of it. Before you install the tube, make sure you get a little bit of air inside of it. So we'll reinstall our valve core, screw it back in, and we'll put just enough pressure inside of the tube that it will hold its shape, but it will still be somewhat flat so we can get it inside of the tire itself. Now that we have a little bit of air inside of the tube, we'll go ahead and insert it inside of the liner. We'll go all the way around inside of the tube, inside of the liner. Make sure it's fully seated and there is nothing protruding outside of the liner. We'll get our wheel and make sure the tire is pointing the direction that the wheel is traveling. So your cassette is on the right-hand side, and the direction of the wheel or the tire is going to be pointing away from you. So we'll start with our valve side. Pull the tube out just a little bit, and then guide your valve into the valve hole of the rim and then screw on your valve cap so that you do not lose the valve during the installation process. Now we'll go ahead and work one side onto the rim at a time. So go ahead, verify that you have one side fully seated, and then we'll flip the wheel over, find a sturdy surface to let the wheel rest on. Let it rest on your hip just a little bit. I'll go ahead and work our way around by reaching underneath the tire and pushing down on the liner and the bead of the tire. Sometimes a tool may come in handy to move your bead onto the rim. Reach underneath the bead of the tire and leverage it onto the rim while pushing with another hand. It is a tight fit, so it may take some effort. Now that we have the bead of the tire installed on one side, we'll go ahead and work the liner inside as well. Use your thumb and push the liner and the tube over the bead of the rim. You'll work your way around. Make sure all the tube is inserted inside. Now that we have the tube inserted, we'll go ahead and start inserting the liner. Work your way around, just like you do the bead of the tire. Press down on all sides of the tire. Make sure you do not have any of the liner sticking out from underneath the tire in between the rim of the bead. Now that everything is ready, we're going to go ahead and push down on the sidewall of the tire and work that bead of the tire onto the bead of the rim. You'll push down on the sidewall and push down on the tread to make sure you can get that bead to seat in between the bead of the rim and the tire. We'll go ahead, work around. This is where it gets a little bit tricky. You'll need a tire lever so you can work the bead onto the rim, because it is just a little bit too difficult to do with just one hand. So go ahead, get your tire lever underneath the bead, and then pull the bead of the tire over the rim so that it seats. And we'll go ahead, go all the way around on both sides of the tire. Make sure that the bead is fully seated before we air it out. Now we will go ahead and air up this tire to 30 psi using a Schrader valve air tool. Go ahead and pump it up to about 10 psi, just so you can go through and make sure that the bead of the tire is still fully seated and that it's not popping outside of the rim. If it is popping outside of the rim, it can cause the tube to pop during the inflation process. Now that we've checked it, we'll go ahead and air it up to 30 psi, and then it's ready to install back onto the bike. All right, it is good to go. And we'll go ahead and install the Schrader valve cap, and then we'll put it back on the bike, and then you are good to go. And that is how you install the Tannis armor on all of our tires. So if you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call or email us directly at info@reconpowerbikes.com. Thank you.